Hello, everyone. I'm Zhou Shangrong, the special producer for Sima Talks Books. Today is the sixth day of the Chinese New Year, a wonderful occasion. Wishing you all a happy new year, full of luck and prosperity. Dear C, but reaching the sixth day means your holiday time is running low. Oh, it's time to sit down, settle your mind, and gear up for work and study. If you find professional books too taxing on the brain, why not pick up a literary book for a read? It might be just what you need. Teacher Zhang Xining from Fudan University once said, "Reading is such a marvelous thing." Some folks might not agree, but if you learn how inaccessible reading was for many in the past, you might start seeing books in a whole new light. Before the 18th century in the West, three-quarters of the poor couldn't read because books were crazy expensive, like luxury items. Also, economists thought reading, writing, and math were harmful to the poor, making them slack off at work. In contrast, a quarter of parishes had no schools since school fees were sky high too. Back then, the only pastime for workers was drinking. They couldn't afford books, not even the light needed to read, poor souls. Speaking of this, you might recall Che Yin from the Jin dynasty, who used fireflies as lamps to study. Sun Kang used the faint light from snow to read, part of those Chinese tales of hard study like Nang Ying Ying Shui. Actually, Che Ying and Sun Kang were pretty lucky to even have books to read. Ancient writings were on bamboo slips or wooden tablets. The saying having 5 cartloads of learning comes from that, because bamboo was so bulky. A few modern books would need several carts back then. That's such pricey books were out of reach for common folks. Even after silk books came along, only the rich could afford to copy them. After paper and printing were invented, books were still scarce, requiring hand copying. The prose Song of Farewell to Dong Yang Masheng, we learned in school, is Ming Dynasty scholar Song Lian, recalling his tough study days. He said, "My family was poor, so I couldn't get books. I often borrowed from collectors, copying by hand and returning on time. The weather was freezing cold, the inkstone frozen solid, fingers unable to bend. Despite all that, I never gave up, meaning being poor, I had to borrow books from the wealthy to copy. In deep winter, the inkstone froze, fingers couldn't move, yet I kept at it without tiring." Saying this, I can't help but stop and face the wall in deep thought. At year's end, counting how many books I've read this year, so I'm truly grateful. Over these past 2 years, through the Sally Talks Books program, I've gotten close with books, met you book lovers, and shared with you literature enthusiasts every profound experience that feels like stepping into another world. In our literature programs, novels make up 90% of the content. While they're so important now, this hasn't always been the case. There's an evolution behind this. Before modern times, Chinese people regarded novels as trivial pursuits, just street gossip and hearsay. They were deemed unworthy compared to the great wisdom of statecraft and self-cultivation, not fit for refined circles. As the saying goes, minor paths may be observable, but they can't achieve greatness, meaning they're okay to read but won't make real impact. Sometimes we might mistakenly think each era has its literature. Tang poetry, song lyrics, Yuan dramas, Mingqing novels. Weren't novels thriving during Mingqing? Actually, no. Though Mingqing produced many fine novels, they still lacked official recognition. The fact that many novelists used pen names speaks volumes. Writing novels brought no official credit, only potential trouble. Novels only became central to Chinese literature after modern times, breaking poetry's dominance and the tradition of poetry expressing ideals, prose conveying principles. At the turn of the 20th century, late Qing translator Lin Shu's works, including the famous La Dame aux Camélias, took China by storm, making novels increasingly visible. Meanwhile, literary revolutionaries advocated breaking from classical traditions. Some even claimed Western nations and Japan achieved enlightenment through novels. The young Chichao argued in On Fiction's Relation to Social Governance that to revitalize a nation, its fiction must first be valued. Using parallel phrasing, he stressed that new morality, religion, politics, customs, and arts required new fiction. Even new mindsets and personalities needed new novels first. And why this magical power in fiction? Liang's explanation was simple. Novels are accessible, enjoyable, relatable, and possess incredible power to purify minds. Thus, Liang declared, nothing moves people more profoundly than this. He said readers finishing Dream of the Red Chamber would carry lingering attachment and sorrow. Readers completing Water Margin would retain lingering excitement and righteous anger. This marked literature descending from its pedestal to connect with ordinary people, becoming down to earth. In other words, life and art became seamlessly joined. Literature and art were no longer lofty privileges, nor luxuries reserved for aristocrats. Not only is life and art directly connected, but people are also linked together through novels. Raymond Williams, a key figure in British cultural studies, said in his The English Novel from Dickens to Lawrence, that novels are a vital form for helping us understand communities. What does community mean? It means that novels, as a literary form, create direct connections between people and reveal shared social experiences. We can understand this community as a shared nation, a common culture, or even a shared language. For example, reading Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice offers insight into the Victorian era. During the Victorian era, British society underwent rapid changes. Novelists aimed to respond to and understand new social relations through their writing, while readers used novels to connect with the new society, find their place, and gain a sense of belonging. Therefore, in times of change, novels become a crucial way to explore new social experiences. If all this feels unfamiliar to you, it's natural to feel a sense of distance or alienation. This also explains why some users comment that they struggled to understand Thomas Mann's works. That's because the German experiences from that time are far removed from us, and encountering unfamiliar experiences is a key reward of reading novels. Conversely, this is where novelists' artistic craft shines, and in this sense, novels offer a way to comprehend history. Of course, this understanding differs completely from that in academic history. From the community novels provide, we don't get neatly ordered historical events with clear causes, but rather the unique lifestyle, language, and experiences of a place or era. On this, Raymond Williams gave a vivid metaphor. Novels exist in the nerves, blood, and living fabric of life experiences. It's through this community that novels preserve information, often filtered out in mainstream culture and missed in grand narratives. But these experiences are incredibly precious, connected to the very essence of each of us. Thus, it becomes a valuable legacy for future generations to understand culture and society, fostering communication and understanding among community members. And this is how literature or art takes shape. Oh my, when we finish a novel and come back to reality, we often say, wow, it feels like a lifetime ago. Yes, because novels take us into unique, precious life experiences, ones we might never have had, helping our time and space-bound selves gradually approach a more complete state of being. If you're yearning for a fuller version of yourself, why not listen to or read these literary classics? Let reading, such a wonderful thing, and deeply moving novels become our daily way to understand the world and ourselves. So, this way we keep renewing ourselves, brimming with confidence, always ready to set out. All right, that's all for today. Starting tomorrow, the Sally Talks Books program resumes regular updates. In this new year, let's grow together through exploring great global literature. Wishing you an auspicious start to work tomorrow. See you then.